Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana is. In this video, I want us to have a look at some remarks made by Uganda's opposition leader, Bobi Wine. For the remarks are going to form the basis of our analysis and discussion right now. Dear Kenyans, be vigilant. Save your country from Musevenism. This may come off as a lone MP making a ridiculous suggestion, but this is how it starts. Exactly how Museveni began schemes to remove term and age limits. Defend your constitution before it's too weak to defend you. Bobi Wine, leader NUP Uganda. In this video, as usual, I want us to dissect those remarks to see the truth behind those remarks. If you are watching us for the very first time, subscribe, give this video a like. Yes, Bobi Wine is talking from experience. Yoweri Museveni became the president of Uganda in January 1986. At that time, Museveni was saying that the biggest problem with African leaders was that they were holding on to power. That was Museveni in 1986. 10 years later, they introduced two-term presidential limits, and Museveni was eligible to contest. And assuming he went for the two terms, he was to hand over power in the year 2006. In 2005, after serving almost two terms, Museveni removed the two terms presidential limits. And it just started off as a joke by some leaders close to Museveni, insinuating that they wanted to remove those presidential term limits. Eventually, they removed them in the year 2005. In 2006, when Museveni was to hand over power, having served his two-term constitutional mandate, he contested again because they had amended the constitution in 2005. And then in 2018, Museveni and his team again removed a barrier because at that time, any person who was over 75 years could not contest for the presidency in Uganda. So Museveni also removed that age kind of a limit. And that's how Museveni has managed to be the president till today. And the funny bit about it is that when such kinds of discussions started, Museveni described them as evil. In fact, he described them as ill-advised, but quietly pushed the idea. So you are seeing a Museveni who is using his close associates to push for the removal of presidential term limits, but in public, he's saying that those kinds of talks are ill-advised. But he's actually the person pushing these allies behind the scenes. So that's the story of Uganda, ladies and gentlemen. And if you compare it to what is happening in Kenya, there are some similarities here. In Uganda, they set an age of 75 years. In Kenya, we are seeing that older member of parliament also talking about 75 years. So they want to remove the term limits and then they cap the age at 75 years. The same scenario that existed in Uganda. An indication that Kenya and Uganda, or leaders in Kenya and leaders in Uganda, might be exchanging notes here. William Ruto or his close associates might be talking to Museveni and his close associates. because these are just some kinds of Museveni's antics and tricks. And just as I did say in the morning, the remarks by that member of parliament, I'm fully convinced those remarks have the blessings from William Ruto or from his close associates. And I'm saying that based on what we saw in Uganda. Museveni was using his allies to push for the idea. He was pushing them behind the scenes, and then in public, he's coming out to deny. I won't be surprised to see William Ruto denying and branding such kind of talks as reckless. Most definitely, he will deny. But behind the scenes, he might be pushing these leaders to push for the removal of 2 terms presidential limits. And maybe reaching that 75 years, assuming he will be alive, he'll also remove the age limit. That's what Museveni did in Uganda. So it's actually very unfortunate that Kenya, a country like Kenya, we can even entertain such kinds of debates. In fact, from where I sit, that member of parliament, by now constituents of Fafi, should now be looking for ways of recalling that member of parliament. He is an embarrassment not only to Fafi constituents, but for the whole country. In fact, he has created a perception that Kenya is turning into a banana kind of a republic. That's the kind of a perception that member of parliament has just created of Kenya. And also, if you look at William Ruto is also exhibiting some signs of a power-hungry leader. If you look at the way William Ruto has been trying to buy leaders from the opposition, it's as if he has got a hidden agenda. He wants to make sure there is no opposition. And in the event there is no opposition, then such kinds of amendments will easily sell through. And this is why I've always been saying in this channel that any leader in the opposition saying he must work with the government for development, that's a betrayer. That's a coward. That's a leader seeking his or her own selfish interest and gains. Without a strong opposition, it's the people who are going to suffer more. A leader working with the government will bring no change to the people. The leader can even deliver without working with the government. That's exactly what I've been saying here. So as I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, the remarks by that older member of parliament, it has the blessings of William Ruto and his close associates. That's a fact. And if only William Ruto can be rest assured that he'll have his way through, I won't be surprised again to see William Ruto coming out in public to endorse that kind of an idea. As of now, he might be shy about it because he knows that kind of an idea might not go through. But I know behind the scenes, it's something they are actually working to make sure it's realized. And that's why I call upon Kenyans to reject such kinds of stupid political gains, or other political games, I mean. William Ruto has been now in office for about 60 days, and in the 60 days, he has performed dismally. That's a fact. Almost everything in the country is going the wrong way. And also listening to that member of parliament speaking, he was talking on how William Ruto has delivered, while Kenyans everywhere are complaining that William Ruto has performed far much dismally than any other leader who has ruled Kenya. So you are just seeing signs of dictatorship starting. When a leader promises a lot and he cannot deliver, such kinds of leaders always turn into dictators. William Ruto knows he has not delivered. So chances are also very high William Ruto in the coming days might turn into a dictator. And one way of turning into a dictator is by changing the constitution. And these are not far-fetched. These are not far-fetched, ladies and gentlemen. Let me stop it there. If you are watching us for the very first time, subscribe. Give this video a like. If you want to support our channel, I've pinned my number on the comment section. Contact me through the number or feel free to channel any support to the number. Let's meet in our next analysis. Thank you.